everyone, welcome to our new edition of Crockpot Sides. Today we are celebrating the holiday season and we're going to be making caramel bread pudding. Now doesn't that just sound yummy? And instead of having to take up time on top of your stove or in your oven, take up space, we're doing it in the crock pot, which makes it easier because it's off to the side. You put it in there and you forget it for 4.5 hours. So if we're ready, let's get started. To start with, we did take this recipe, caramel bread pudding, from one of our books here at the library you can check out. Slow cooker crockpot cookbook, slow cooker cookbook, Southern Living. Got a lot of good recipes in there, and we have a lot more slow cooker or crockpot cookbooks. All right, to start with, you need cinnamon and nutmeg, eggs, some caramel syrup, doesn't really matter which kind, raisins, sugar. You're going to need to put some type of grease in your crock pot, so I just have some spray here like I use whenever I'm making cakes. Heavy whipping cream, and it says milk, but we all know whole milk's the best, right? Add all that fat in there you can. It's the holidays. Also, you will need a measuring cup, a whisk, and a measuring spoon. All right, so it calls for day-old French bread cut into 1-inch cubes. I have already cut up a lot of French bread. I just wanted to give you a little demonstration of how to do this. I did go ahead and do some prepping because it has to sit in the refrigerator for an hour. Bread soaking up all your liquid ingredients. So we, just went ahead and took care of that this morning early. So just start with your French bread. I have a bread knife here. It's serrated. Any serrated knife will do. Just start your little cuts, 1-inch cubes. As you can see, I'm cutting it into 4 strips. And then we're just gonna, doesn't have to be exact, it's okay. You know, bread pudding came from back in the day when people made use of everything. They had some bread that had gone stale, they were not throwing it out. Mom knew that it would soak up any liquids and make a yummy dessert, and bread pudding was born. So there you go, just real quick, that one's probably a little bit bigger than 1 inch, give it a little cut there. And there you are, you've got your 1-inch bread cubes. So, to get on to the basics, you have to start by mixing your eggs, and the way I believe in, as you add an ingredient, you mix it together. So to start with, I whisked my eggs, then we added milk and cream and whisk each of those into the eggs. Then we had to add the sugar, whisk that in, and last was the nutmeg and cinnamon. I added both of those and whisk it all together. So everything is really incorporated well. It's set together, got to know one another, made it yummy. Then we, the breadcrumbs and raisins went in the pot. Go ahead and pick this up. There you go. And as you can see, most of the liquid has been absorbed. So, our next step, take our crock pot here, and I'm just going to give it a quick spray. That way all that sugar and cream doesn't stick to the sides of the crock pot. Woo. There we go. And you could use oil, you could use butter, whatever you'd like. I just prefer using this. And now, let me get this stuff out of the way. We will start ladling in our mixture. once I get enough in here where I can handle it, I'll just go ahead and finish pouring it in there. Look how great that looks. Just think how good it's going to be once it's cooked. Then you'll have more room in your top of your stove and in your oven to cook those pies or cakes or whatever else. So I think I can go ahead and get all this in here now. Doesn't that look good? Okay, there we go. Now then, just press it down in there a little bit. Put the lid on. And we cook it on low for 4.5 hours. Whenever it's done, give it a good stir. No stirring necessary in between. And you will top it with your caramel syrup, which of course you can make this by hand also, but let's face it, we're trying to go for easy here. And that is it. Isn't that great? I mean, that was simple. The longest thing that took about this was cutting all that bread up into 1-inch cubes. Now I will admit that took a while. It probably took me about 30 minutes to get all that bread cut up. And you're supposed to use day-old bread. I was not able to find day-old bread, so last night I went ahead and cut up my bread and put it in plastic bags, left all the air in the bag instead of squishing it out, and that way it sort of made it, you know, dry out some, and I think it's gonna work. All right, that's it for your Crockpot sides today. We hope everyone has a happy holiday. Don't worry about dieting. It's the holiday time. Have a great one, y'all, and come back to see us.